the roads constructed by the Tibetans in the northeast. They not only constructed the roads, today the entire northeast lifeline, the Brahmaputra, has a source in Tibet. And water is an important source for India. In fact, if for the recent years, if you have noticed, in the northeast, the water levels has descended down in Brahmaputra. Recently, the water levels have come down in Brahmaputra. This is a lifeline of the northeast India and Bangladesh. Why the water levels have come down? The Chinese have officially told they are constructing dams in Tibet, across the Tibet. And because of that, the water levels are coming down. That's the reason Tibet is very, very important to India. And similarly, India is very important to Tibet. And we never thought or never even imagined His Holiness is our person who has come from Tibet. In fact, we are gifted to have His Holiness in our country. Because I went to Macklunch, the Dharamshala, and in one of the restaurants, I was just staying in Asia Park, there's a hotel called Asia Park or Hotel. And I just went in the evening. I visited more than 10 times to Dharamshala, and I just went to the opposite. There was a restaurant where people who come to play cricket and all eat there. And then I went to the restaurant, and the first page of the restaurant, they have written that we are very thankful for His Holiness for being here in Dharamshala, which made Macklunch to be on the global platform, on the global map. And the divinity what we have got from His Holiness is completely unmeasurable. Today, Holiness is a diplomatic messenger of India, diplomatic messenger to the US. When Obama, he is considered to be our relationship, diplomatic relationship across the world. And we are gifted to have His Holiness, and we are gifted to have you all of you, my brothers and sisters. The most important thing which I want to stress here is what happened to Tibet before 50 years is now happening to all the countries around the world. When this was indicated by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel to our Nehru, he wrote a letter. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel wrote a letter to Nehru. We have let down Tibet. That's what the letter written by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And why Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was an advocate of the unity is, you know, India was a princely state. India was invaded by the British people. And it is Mr. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel who united, he is called the Iron Man of India, who united India. He had a concern about the Tibet, and his vision is right. Whatever happened before 50 years to Tibet is now happening to Mongolia. It's happening to other countries. It's happening to Nepal. And it's happening to South Sea China. You all know about that issue. It's East China issue. And even for Taiwan, the president of Taiwan is not able to visit US in her individual capacity. Tsai Ing-wen. She's not able to visit. She needs to take permission from China. Why should she take permission? She is the head of Taiwan. But still China controls Taiwan. And what happened for Tibet is now happening for Hong Kong. People in the Hong Kong believe they have laws in the country which will prevent them from Chinese invasion. But recent instances show you how Hong Kong is also not left over by the Chinese. Thankfully, thanks to the present government, our Modi government, and they can't invade India at any point of time. Take it from me, because it's a very simple. Today we are very, very clear with respect to the NGOs being run in our country. I don't know how many of them know. In India, about 20,000 NGOs has been closed, whichever was looked as an anti-national activities. So the government is having eye for detail for everything, and definitely Tibet is our friend, and a lot of help is done by the government also. We have included Tibet in all our policies. I'll tell you how. We have Taiwan coming out with the Go South policy, and India coming out with the Act East policy. And wherever possible, we have tried to maintain a diplomatic relationship with the Taiwan people. And I was always advocating. I used to do a lot of sessions in Taiwan. I always told them, Taiwan plus India is the tiger of the world, because it will actually help the South Asian countries. The future of the world is not your Western countries, it's not European countries. The future of the world is South Asian countries. Your Vietnam, your Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar is going to be the future of the world, because $500 billion business happened there. So what is the message that I want to give you is, you have a mountain number of opportunity. Yes, we will return back to Tibet at some point of time, for sure, in a short while. But most important thing is, how are we empowered ourselves? Very, very important. Now, when you are empowered, what is meant by self-empowerment? You are all getting educated today in India. You are all going to have a wonderful life. So self-empowerment is very, very important. What kind of dreams we have? We should hold our strongest dream. That's very, very important. Today when I meet students, what I understand is, even Indian students in some of the top colleges, what I understand is not that they are lacking education. They have the best of the education, they have the best of the CGPA, 8.5 or 9 or 7. What they are lacking is the vision, what they are lacking is the dream. And especially in the Tibetan community, we need to have the dream inculcated. Now I told you what was happening for the Tibet is happening now for other countries around the world. And you should be the advocate of the issue that is happening in the Tibet. You should raise voice against the issues that is being brought by the China against the Tibet. How do you do it? Today you don't need to come to the road. We have social media. All that we need is the power to empower. We need to write about it. We need to articulate about it. There should be ambassadors coming from the community to talk about the issue. There are global platforms. Yes, I understand. We have United Nations which is not hearing the Tibetan issue. But it is our responsibility to flag off the issue. For that, you need to have the knowledge, we need to have the qualities of the powerful leader. That's very, very important. And in fact, if you look at His Holiness advocacy about compassion, and the real Make in India movement is Tibetan movement. The real Make in India movement is a Tibetan movement. I'm using the word called Make in India movement is a Tibetan movement. Following the footsteps of our Mahatma Gandhi, the first freedom movement that is followed up in the path of Mahatma Gandhi is the Tibetan movement, the non-violence movement. The way we are actually trying to get the free Tibet. It's very important. It's a real Make in India movement. And never we have considered Tibetan as somebody who has come from other country. We are always included. India has always included Tibetans in their policies. And in fact, we are very, very happy. The Indian people are very happy for two reasons. We are able to reinstill the ideologies of Nalanda institution because of His Holiness coming to India. If you remember, in 17th century and 18th century, people used to come to India sacrificing their life. 8 people used to start from Tibet to come to India. While coming on the way, animals used to eat 3 or 4 people. They very well know the animals will attack them. Still they took the risk of coming to India to understand the culture of Nalanda. And that Nalanda culture went to Tibet. And in India, because of invasion, we lost the Nalanda culture. Now again, that Nalanda culture is brought in by our Tibetan friends, and especially by His Holiness Dalai Lama. So he has actually re-established Nalanda culture in India by monasteries and the cultural value. In fact, when I interact with the Tibetans around the country, what I find is they actually doesn't want to show their identity as Tibetan. That should not be the thought process. We need to have our own identity. Westernization is good to an extent where you adopt the technology. It's bad to an extent where you submerge and subsume your identity. Your identity is very, very important. Your culture is very, very important. You try to imbibe your culture. Just not move across to the Western world. In fact, today Western world, the Trump's regime, they are moving towards the protectionism. They are closing their economy. So all that we need is the individual identity. Very, very important. That's what Ramu Manivannan also spoke, and Dorji Singh also spoke about it. That's what every leader insists upon. We need to have an individual identity and have that identity, because that's what will show you that you are a unique person and you belong to a particular culture. So don't lose your cultural value because of westernization, because of the technological advent. Maintain your cultural value and also include your technological advancement and the westernization. That's very, very important. Now while you are getting educated, you all must be in the college, you are all getting educated. What should you do? The education, whatever you pursue, look at how do you empower your community. In fact, I have been advocating about this matter across the country. Communities in India, communities around the world has actually been productive thing. Only politics has destroyed communities. I hope you are able to understand. Political people use the communities to divide the country. It is the same communities which united the country, but politicians divided the country based on the community. So communal value is very, very important. Community is not bad. People who use that community used it in a bad way. That is the reason today, I am from a particular community also has become a bad sign of response. So ensure that you have your identity, you work for your community, and Central Tibetan Administration is doing a wonderful job. They have something called TED, Tibetan Entrepreneurship Development. In fact, I have addressed in Dharamshala. Use that kind of a platform. They also have women empowerment desk. They also have lot of welfare programs running in. So use that kind of an opportunity. Look at how you can work for the community around and your people around. That's very, very important. Government of India is definitely trying a lot of measures to ensure that the comfortable level is even more provided. In fact, I visited to the upper TCV schools. In fact, I have my article, you can go and check, you can put Sathya Kumar, Indian Express with His Holiness Dalai Lama. They have captured an article about me in the Indian Express, in Education Express. I told the model of the upper TCV school has to be adopted for the Indian schools also. The model of the upper TCV schools has to be adopted for the Indian school also. Why? I went to the upper TCV school. I just saw the homes run by the Tibetans, where they study in the school. 20 people stay in the same house. One parent takes care of them. This is the model I advocated for the villages in the country. Today what's happening? In a village, in the Indian government, we establish a school, but there is nobody to take care of them. And when this model is emulated for the Indian school, what will happen is, the bonding gets developed. And the feel of oneness comes. Very important. 20 people would come from different families, but the 20 people stay in the same home to develop the feel of oneness. Of course, there will be some conflict when you are a child, when you grow up, but the leadership quality also raises up along with you. At the end of the, there will be some senior in the home, yes or no? He will be like a boss, yes or no? He will threaten you, and you would have also done that, right? At some point of time. This model is very, very important. It develops compassion, it brings leadership quality, it brings an emotional balance among the students. I have advocated about it. In fact, it has been carried as an Indian Express article. I told the Tibetan model of the schools has to be emulated and simulated across the country so that it becomes an empowerment model for the village students. So we have everything with us. We have the facility, we have a very good leader, we have a great advocate of Buddhism around the world, Our Holiness Dalai Lama. So what we need to do is, how do we empower ourselves? Very, very important. The government cannot empower each individual. The government can only provide a path. The government can only provide a direction. Catching up with the direction to raise up to a leadership level in whatever the areas and the work you do, it's a responsibility of the individual. So I would strongly urge, we have the strength, we have the leadership qualities within us. Empower yourself, empower the people around you, so that we all raise up to a greater purpose in our life. That's very, very important. I'm sure if each and every individual gets empowered, and each and every individual is able to provide empowerment to within your community, automatically we will be back in Tibet. We'll be back in Tibet. We'll be moving to the Tibet shortly. All that we need is have a dream, work on your passion, make your career, have highest enthusiasm. That's very, very important. Never lose an enthusiasm. In fact, I was just asking, Dawa is my good friend. You all must be knowing Dawa Chungu. She's a chartered accountant, right? So she works with me. I'm a chartered accountant by accident. Okay, so she's working with us. She's one of the brilliant product from the Tibetan community. She's one of the best product in the chartered accountancy. When I have a doubt, I consult her. She is able to clear some of the doubts. So that means you have the capability. What is required? I asked Dawa, how many people take chartered accountancy in Tibetan? She said, when I say chartered accountancy, people say it is very tough, I'm not going to take up. So where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. Where there is a toughness, there is a enlightenment. So ensure that you take up higher level. Just don't settle down for a normal life. We have wonderful career ahead and wonderful opportunities ahead. Ensure that you use this opportunity. In fact, when Holiness talks about the education is not about educating yourself. Educating the heart is very, very important. He's been always advocating about it. So that's how, when you educate your heart, when you work from your heart, you actually become a leader. You look at whoever works from their heart, actually become a leader. That's very, very important. So look at the higher level purpose. If at all, if you're thinking to move on to another country, don't leave your identity. Very, very important. A lot of Tibetan students, when I interact, they wanted to get out from India. Get out from India. I'm not stopping that you should not go out from India. Moving out from India also has its own problem. You are not given passport. You have to apply to the passport office and then go to the High Court to get the order and then go and apply the passport. These are all the tough things. You only have an Indian certificate. These are all the issues. I have tried to highlight all these issues to the legislators wherever possible to ensure that you are included in India. And His Holiness Dalai Lama is a son of India. You all know about it. He told the dal, the rice, And the NDTV is told about it, it is advocated about it. So he is part of us, you are all part of us. We will definitely be empowered. Anytime, any help you want, you can reach out to me. I am in Chennai, very well I am in Chennai. I am also in the social media. Anytime you can reach out to me. I have been advocating about it. I travel regularly to Dharamshala. So whatever the issues you have in Chennai, Asha Reddy ma'am is there. I am there. You can always write to me. I am there available for you all. Thank you so much. I look forward